Hey everyone, it's Erica Mackey from Maniacal Reader, and this is my birthday book haul. I have a lot of books to show you, so this video will be my birthday book haul part 1, and part 2 will be coming next. The first book I want to show you is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. This is the first book in a YA epic fantasy series. This book follows a girl named Selena. Selena is in a prison and she has to fight 23 thieves and warriors in some competition to be released from prison. Someone named the Crown Prince will provoke her or something. When her competitors in this competition start dying, she has a quest for survival. I've heard a lot about this series on BookTube, but I don't really know much about this fantasy series. But I know it's very popular and a lot of people in the community love Sarah J. Maas, so I wanted to try this book out. The next book I want to show you is Unremembered by Jessica Brody. This is a YA science fiction romance book. This book follows a girl named Serafina who is the only survivor of a plane crash, but she has no memory of her life before the crash, and she has no memories, period. She somehow is haunted by a looming threat that she can't remember, and she wants to figure out who she really is. The only thing that is giving her comfort is this guy who claims to have known her before the crash. So I think some sort of romance develops between these two characters. The synopsis is kind of vague, so I'm not really sure what to make of this book, but the fact that Serafina can't remember anything and that she supposedly survived a plane crash is what intrigued me about this book in the first place. I'll have to read it and find out if I like it. The next book I want to show you is Glitch, written by Heather Anastano. This is the first book in a YA sci-fi dystopian trilogy. This book follows a girl named Zoe who is part of the community. She lives in a world that is free of pain and war. All people in the community have a chip that's implanted inside them that protects them from the destructive emotions of the old world. But now Zoe's hardware starts to glitch. When her hardware starts to glitch, she starts developing these strange powers. But in the community she lives in, when your hardware glitches, that could get you killed. So Zoe wants to find more people with powers like hers and wants to find out more about what's going on. The next book I have to show you is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. This is the first book in a YA sci-fi dystopian series. I think that his book follows previous waves of destruction that have happened to the world, and the fifth wave is coming and won't be like any of the other previous waves. Also, I think his book has to do with aliens. The next book I want to show you is Cracked Up to Be by Courtney Summers. It's a YA realistic fiction novel, and it's about this girl named Parker Fadley who is suicidal. This girl was once a cheerleading captain and got the best grades. Now she's no longer on the cheerleading team and she's failing in school. Everyone around Parker wants to know why she's suddenly fallen from grace, but Parker doesn't want to tell anyone. And there's this guy who's falling in love with Parker, and he's making her feel things again when she would rather not feel anything at all. I picked up this book because I want to become more interested in YA realistic fiction and the synopsis of this book sounded interesting to me. The next book I want to show you is Storm by Bridget Kramer. This is the first book in a YA paranormal fantasy series. This book follows a girl named Becca Chandler. When Becca Chandler saves a guy named Chris Merrick in a school parking lot, she realizes that Chris is way different. He can control water, and Chris's other brothers can control the other elements. Chris and his brothers are dangerous and marked for death. When Hunter, the new kid at school, comes around, Becca isn't really sure who to trust. And when Chris and Hunter go head to head, things change drastically from there. Next up, I have Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is the first book in a YA paranormal fantasy series. This book follows a girl named Cinder who is a cyborg that needs to save the world, and her stepmother doesn't like her at all. I've heard a lot about this book on BookTube, that it's a fairy tale retelling of Cinderella with aliens in space. So, since everyone in the BookTube community is talking about this book, I wanted to check this book out for myself and see what the fuss is all about. The next book I want to show you is Willow by Julia Hoban. This is a YA realistic fiction book. It follows this girl named Willow, who one night drives her parents home, but she loses control of the car and both of her parents are killed. Willow is devastated by this, and she has to try to overcome her parents' death. And the only way that Willow copes with her parents' death is by cutting herself. She meets this boy named Guy who is falling for her, and they start a romance. This book follows her struggle with her parents' death and the romance that she develops with this boy. The next book I want to show you is What Happens Next by Colleen Clayton. This is another YA realistic fiction book, and it follows this girl named Sid Murphy, who one day finds herself on a ski loft with a local college boy named Dax Windsor. She thinks that he's perfect, but he steals a lock of her hair, and she can't remember what happens after that. Sid drops out of college and takes up residence in an AV room with a guy named Corey, who she starts to develop a romance with. Everything seems to be alright, except Sid is still having nightmares about what happened. It sounds to me like this girl named Sid was date raped, and I'm curious to see how her new relationship with Corey develops. That's the end of my birthday book haul part 1. I'll see you guys next time for part 2. Bye!
Lately you make me weaker in the knees, and you race through my veins, baby, every time you're close to me. Take me away to places I ain't seen. They say you got a hold on me, yeah, and I want this so great.